I got caught stealing glances at my best friend's wife. She whispered, "I know what you're thinking." The first time she caught me looking, I wished the ground would open beneath my feet. She didn't look angry. She didn't look offended. She simply smiled, leaned a little closer while my best friend was busy at the barbecue grill, and whispered, "I know what you're thinking." My heart nearly stopped. Because if she really knew, I was about to lose the only family I had left. My name is Daniel, and Ethan has been my best friend since we were 12 years old. We survived school together, first jobs, heartbreaks, and the loss of people we loved. When he met Claire, I knew immediately she was different. She wasn't loud or dramatic. She was kind. The kind of person who remembered your favorite coffee, asked how your interview went, and noticed when you were pretending to be okay. The day Ethan married her, I stood beside him as his best man. Watching them exchange vows, I remember thinking, that's what real love looks like. I wasn't jealous. I was happy for him. At least, that's what I believed. 2 years later, everything in my life fell apart. I lost my job. A month later, I lost my apartment. Before I could even ask for help, Ethan said, "Pack your bags. You're staying with us." I refused 3 times. He ignored every excuse. Claire smiled and said, "The guest room has been empty for years. It'll be nice having someone around." I promised I'd stay only a few weeks. Those weeks turned into months. Living with a married couple teaches you things nobody else sees. Morning coffee together. Little arguments over whose turn it was to buy groceries. Movie nights on the couch. The silent smiles couples exchange without saying a word. It wasn't perfect. It was real, and that's what made it beautiful. Claire always made sure I felt included. If we're eating, she'd say, "You're eating too." When Ethan worked late, she'd ask about my job search. She even helped rewrite my resume. Nothing inappropriate ever happened. Not once. But slowly, I realized something that terrified me. I admired her, not because she was beautiful, because she made everyone around her feel seen. One evening, we attended one of Ethan's company parties. Claire wore a simple summer dress, nothing flashy. But when she laughed, the whole room seemed brighter. I caught myself staring, only for a second. It was 1 second too long. From that day forward, I avoided looking at her. I stopped sitting beside her. I stayed in my room more often. I thought distance would solve everything. Then came the barbecue. Friends filled the backyard. Music played softly. Ethan stood at the grill, flipping burgers. Claire walked over with 2 glasses of lemonade. Without realizing it, I looked at her again. She caught me. Instead of walking away, she came closer, smiled, and whispered, "I know what you're thinking." I felt sick. She knows. She's going to tell Ethan. Everything is over. Then she quietly added, "You miss having someone who looks at you the way Ethan looks at me." I blinked. "What?" She smiled kindly. "I've seen the way you watch us. You don't look jealous. You look lonely." Those words hit harder than any accusation ever could, because she was right. I wasn't wishing for her. I was wishing for what they had. That night I couldn't sleep. The next morning I packed my suitcase. When Ethan saw it, he frowned. "Where are you going?" "I found a small apartment." "You don't have to leave." "I think I do." He looked confused. Claire stood silently behind him. Neither of us mentioned yesterday. I moved out that weekend. A month later, I finally got a job. It wasn't glamorous, but it gave me hope again. Life slowly started moving forward. Then one night, Ethan called. His voice sounded broken. "Can you come over?" Claire was crying. They had just lost their baby. I didn't know she had been pregnant. The house felt painfully quiet. For weeks, I visited often. Sometimes nobody talked. Sometimes grief doesn't need words. One evening Claire whispered, "I keep thinking it was my fault." "It wasn't," I said. "What if I had rested more?" she asked. "It still wasn't," I said. She cried. I simply handed her a tissue. Nothing more. At that exact moment, Ethan walked into the room. For one terrifying second, I saw doubt in his eyes. Only for a second, but it was there. A few days later, he invited me fishing. Halfway through the trip, he finally asked, "Can I ask you something?" "Anything." He stared at the lake. "Have you ever had feelings for Claire?" I could have lied. Instead, I told him the truth. I admired her. I hated myself for it. But I never wanted to betray you. Silence. Finally, Ethan smiled. "You know why I trust you?" I looked at him. "Because attraction isn't betrayal. Choice is. You chose distance. You chose honesty. You chose to leave. That's why you're still my brother." I couldn't hold back my tears. Neither could he. That conversation saved our friendship forever. Another year passed. Life became brighter again. At my new office, I met a woman named Julia. She was funny, independent, completely different from Claire. For the first time in years, I wasn't comparing my life to someone else's. I was finally building my own. One Sunday, Ethan invited me over again. Claire opened the door holding a tiny baby girl. She smiled. "This is Sophie." Ethan laughed. "Looks like she already likes Uncle Daniel." Uncle. Not outsider, not stranger. Family. Later that evening, Claire found me standing alone on the porch. She smiled. "You look happy." "I finally am." She nodded. "You know, I wasn't completely wrong that day." "What do you mean?" "You weren't looking at me. You were looking at the life you wanted." I smiled. She was right. Sometimes we mistake loneliness for love. Sometimes we confuse admiration with desire. But real love isn't taking what belongs to someone else. Real love is protecting the people who matter most, even from yourself. Looking back now, I'm grateful she caught me staring, because that whisper forced me to face the truth before I ruined everything. I didn't lose my best friend. I didn't lose his wife. I gained a family, found my own happiness, and learned that the strongest friendships aren't the ones that never face temptation. They're the ones that survive it with honesty. And every time I remember Claire's quiet whisper, "I know what you're thinking," I smile. Because she didn't know exactly what I was thinking, but she understood exactly what I needed.